Alrighty then. I said it was going to be an Ace Attorney and Wine kind of night. And then I decided, make it an Ace Attorney and Vodka kind of night. I haven't touched this vodka since the last time I drank it on stream, which was like... before I started my new job. I haven't touched it since then. Well, yeah, vodka sucks. Probably. Oh god, I forgot about that. Glad we get the warning beep. Well, Jeff's talking about Honkai Star Rail, obviously. The problem is I don't have a lot of wine that I can drink on my own. A lot of the wine that we have in the house are stuff like my wife and I share, and she'll get like pissed if I drink it without her. So, oh yeah. Like I really like drinking red wine. Like if I'm just drinking just to like chill or whatever, a glass of red wine's really nice. But the only red wine we have right now is the only red wine that she really likes. And if I drink it on my own, she gets pissed. Well, I'll give you an A for imagination there, CJ. That is creative problem solving. Wouldn't work, but it is creative problem solving. Our Italian white Chardonnay's buttery. I hate buttery Chardonnays. They're normally buttery or, I guess, I don't know, like a little crisper. Like, I can't stand the buttery ones. Which is weird because I love butter, but I don't want to drink it. If you've had buttery Chardonnay, you would know what I'm talking about. It's like... It's hard to describe, but like just search Chardonnay buttery, and you'll see what people are talking about. Good try. Good try, CJ. I don't know. I don't know what makes it taste buttery. Like, for example, I know why gin tastes. There are two really different kinds of gins, and I know why one of them tastes like shit. It's because they use more juniper. That's what makes them taste like garbage and pine tree. But I don't know what makes Chardonnay buttery versus oak. A buttery Chardonnay is often aged in oak barrels, which can add vanilla, toasty notes, and more texture to the wine. Like, this sounds good, and I just don't like it. Oh! Well, fuck me. This answers my question. Listen to this. So, oak Chardonnays are rich, full-bodied, and has additional flavors of vanilla, butter, and even caramel from the oak. So it comes from the oak. Which, that sounds amazing. But a cool climate, buttery Chardonnay will have more citrus flavor. Well, that's disappointing. You're right. I should hit the booze tonight. It's been one of those weeks. I'm not gaslighting you. I just said something basic, and I'm not insulting you because you don't know what it means. I don't really like buttery Chardonnay. Oh God! Everybody wants to gaslight how little I know. I'm sitting there like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Uh, so it's a softer, creamier lactic acid. Same acid found. Makes sense. So yeah, I don't like that type of Chardonnay. I don't. I don't. There's only one red and one white that I will not touch, and it's that type of buttery Chardonnay, and then Merlot. I despise Merlot. Oof. I've never had a Merlot that tastes any good. Ah, yes, this coffee has notes of 3-day-old wet newspaper mixed with fragrant aroma of rose petals gently dropped into a waterfall. Uh, uh, a waterfall from the Pacific Northwest, CJ. Come on. I'm fine. Everything is fine. I just hope things really do turn out fine tomorrow. Oh, I'm still waiting for the... Is this where we ended? This is not where we ended. This is the second time in this game that I was literally one dialogue like away from a to-be continued. Actually, the third time if you count the cutscene, where I was like one dialogue box away from either a to-be continued or a cutscene. Somebody keep me on save duty. Oh, God damn it! Got excited for a second. Got really excited. I suppose we should reconvene the trial of Solomon Starbuck or something?
Objection!
Stop being a bitch, Your Honor! No, that's what he said to him. There are no more bombs, I promise. Oh, yes, my apologies. Of course not. Silly things like bombs don't scare me. I'm still a little jumpy when it comes to trials involving bombs. I mean, first the courtroom exploded. Then his face exploded. Well, I wasn't pissed at the judge. I was just disappointed because I thought he might have, like, been too scared to come into court. I'm never gonna get pissed that a guy came into work. Gotta feed your family. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Did somebody correct CJ? West is left if you're facing north. I mean, some people do have a general feel for it better than others, I think. I know that gets kind of overstated sometimes in fiction, but I think there's something to that. Or, like, people that can pick up on it by, like, certain survival tactics or whatever. You don't necessarily know, you can find out. Yeah, left on... Is that a fixed map, CJ? Or is it the one that, like, travels with you as you move? That makes sense. And then Mr. Tonate self-destructed. I guess that's one way of describing what happened to Tonate. Anyway, it seems that Mr. Justice was seriously wounded by Mr. Tonate's actions. So you, Mr. Wright, will be taking up the defense? Do you have an understanding of what has happened in the trial so far? Yes, Your Honor. Although that's never stopped you any other time. People have to get into trial on short notice. Yes, Your Honor, if you'll recall, I once successfully defended a client while suffering from amnesia. So you know what? The defense is ready. Ooh, Shadows is a good one. Like Shadows in Time of Day. I guess it's part of the Shadows. Very well. Is the prosecution also ready? I take it you'd like me to give the opening statement this time. Looks like the judge has become a pretty good mind reader. Zeph's a sundial. Yeah, Zeph just is a sundial. Well, he's certainly seen more than his fair share of colorful prosecutors. You could say he's something of a veteran of sorts. Any judge that's his age and has been judging for a long time is a veteran. I guess he's talking about specifically veterans of weird people, dealing with weird people. But again, I'd say most judges get that. And it's not like he was the only judge that ever had those weird prosecutors in front of him. That's kind of a weird implication. Especially since we've seen the other prosecutors in front of, like, the Canadian judge. Let's see. In the previous part of this trial, we learned that the victim, Clay Terran, escaped from Launchpad 1 carrying the defendant, Solomon Starbuck. There were explosions on the second floor of the Space Center and on the rocket itself. The two astronauts used the Launchpad 1 corridor to reach the boarding lounge. And how could the victim climb down the ladder if he was carrying the defendant? That was the mystery that needed to be solved. But Mr. Justice proved that the victim was killed in the boarding lounge. Prosecutor Blackwell, were you able to discover any new facts related to this point? Upon further investigation, we discovered an oxygen tank fragment in the lounge. God damn it. I clicked to time out CJ there, but I stayed my finger. Because I think I actually admire that one more than despise it. Surprisingly, it would appear that Justice Stoner's argument was correct. So that means the testimonies of the first two people on the scene are suspect. And just as our team was about to cross-examine Detective Arm, the courtroom blew up, and the trial was put on hold. That cursed fellow. He killed my witness. He killed Detective Arm. Definitely put the kibosh on anyone asking her about what she saw. Exactly. In other words, the question of who killed the victim in the boarding lounge has once again become the main focus of this trial. It's obvious Prosecutor Blackwell still thinks it was Mr. Starbuck. Well, obviously, or otherwise he would move to dismiss the case. Fulbright said that Blackwell has a thing against the astronaut. Nevertheless, the defense argues that there was a third person in the lounge and that's who killed the victim.
Objection!
To make such reckless claims in a courtroom takes a bold man, or a stupid one. There is no third person in the boarding lounge. Or have you gone dotty already? Old man. Hey! I'm older than Phoenix is here. I was about to go off on him, but I'm above ad hominem. But I might not be able to stay my hand once again.
Objection!
We'll see who's the dotard after I trounce you with my years of experience, little boy. Try to get my MJ up. Nope. Well done, Phoenix. That was excellent. In any case, Mr. Starbuck. Yeah, no, Starbuck. I was right. It's singular. Claims he saw someone leaving the lounge. Furthermore, a Space Center employee also saw a suspicious figure at the scene. They saw a third person? I see my sister has been running her mouth. Oh, God forbid your sister actually contribute to the truth! Holy shit! That's right, I almost forgot that Aura is Prosecutor Blackwell's sister. How did you almost forget? I remember that, and I haven't touched this in a week. No matter, she didn't see this mystery person's face clearly. Therefore, there is no evidence to indicate that this person was not the defendant. That's interesting. I thought she said she was, gonna, No, that was what's-his-face said he was gonna testify. Maybe she did not say that. Oh yeah, he definitely calls her old hag. Hag, 3 across. What was it? Fascists. Top 3 comedy movie of all time. I guess the possibility that the figure was Mr. Starbuck is still there. Figure was Mr. Starbuck is still there. In brief, we need to determine if a third person was there or not. To this end, we should hear the testimony of one of the first people on the scene. Director Cosmos, huh? Very well. Bailiff, please bring the witness to the stand. Alright. Gotta get the throat nice and moist. Look. No. These are Arnold voice exercises. Well, I believe I've seen you before in the newspapers. Of course you have. Of course you have. For I am Yuri Cosmos, director of the Cosmos Space Center, which was of course named after me, Yuri Cosmos, and not the Cosmos. Really? Holy shit! It might have been founded, 20 years before I was born, but it was obviously named in anticipation of my great arrival as its director. Don't you have anything you wish to ask me? Looks like he's all geared up to do some bragging. 7 years ago, I successfully launched the HAT-1 1000N. It's a neural-net processor, a learning computer. Everyone already knows how brilliant you are. Even I'm trying to hold back my tears at seeing such a great man standing before me. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought they were those things running down your fucking cheeks. So could you please proceed directly to your important testimony? I see this fine young lad has a proper appreciation of... Wait, no, that was like... I see this fine young lad as a proper appreciation of greatness. Then allow me to begin my wow, I'm not sure I can say that word in that accent. Then allow me to begin my epochal testimony that will be recorded in the annals of history. That speech of Prosecutor Blackwell just now sounded more to me like he was poking fun at Director Cosmos. Sounded more like he was poking fun at Director Cosmos. It's probably for the best that sailed right over the director's head, or flew, or launched, or, space pun, Phoenix. Now then, Director Cosmos, the condensed version of your illustrious testimony, please. Excuse me. I thought you did recommend the Arnold voice for Junie. Or did you scrap that one after I told you that the Arnold voice for Iris was absolutely ridiculous? Staten Island housewife Athena? Detective Arm and I rushed towards the boarding lounge together. I screamed, "Yow!" Well, she went anyway. We went via the control room and peeked in from there to see what was going on inside. We saw a figure standing in the middle of the lounge. and Taryn lying on the floor. I hate to say it, but I can only imagine the standing figure must have been Starbuck. I see. So in your testimony, you claim you arrived at the scene after the two had escaped from the launch pad to the lounge, and just after the victim had been killed. Oh, the horror! Oh, the humanity! But what I saw is what I saw, and what I saw is what what I said is what I saw, and what I saw is what I said. Courageous action to take in the face of such terrifying explosions, wouldn't you say? To save my men, I've been personally into the epicenter of danger. Risking my own life for theirs. Oh, no. Well, what do you know? Sounds like the director really cares about his men. Yeah, although it sounds more like he was scared and just had a peek from far away. Is the defense ready to cross-examine the witness? I suppose so, Your Honor. Director Cosmo's testimony is pretty vague. I'm going to have to press him further and draw out more information before I do anything else. So, like, I would have objected to his speculation. Because one way to get more information out would be to object to his statement as being speculation as to who did it. And then him having to, being forced then to fill in more of the blanks. Otherwise, it would be sustained. Like, why is he in a position to make that speculation? Together, huh? Oh, actually, I want to... Why were you guys together? Oh, boo! Where were you coming from? The 6th floor. We were making sure any stragglers made their way to the 4th floor. It was then when we heard about Starbuck and Terran and hurried to the 3rd floor lounge. Oh my! Galactic Scooter here, of course! Why do you keep calling it galactic? Does that have something to do with space? Of course, it's specifically designed to be used on galactic battleships that haven't been designed yet. I see. Then I take it works in 0G2? Sadly, no. With the current state of technology as it is, I'm afraid it would just float about and be galactically useless. Galactically useless. Well, that's a galactic bummer. I see. Anyway, so you rushed to the boarding lounge on your space-age pogo stick. That's actually a pretty funny way of describing that. And when you got to the scene, what did you see?
Hold it!
Let's see. According to this diagram, you didn't have to go through the control room to get to boarding lounge 1. Looks like you could have gone there from the southern corridor as well. Yes, but in our haste, Detective Arms rushed ahead of me towards the control room. All I could do was merely follow behind her. What a fucking follower. He's director. More like follower-er. I see. So we peeked into the boarding lounge from the control room door, and...
Hold it!
So you couldn't see who that figure was clearly, or what they were doing? Sadly, the only thing I could tell was that it was a person standing motionless. A defendant, no doubt, staring aghast at his deed. What other explanation is there? Objection! I'm not asking you the fucking questions! Ah, I'm so close. Without evidence, I can't prove that person's the third party. I don't relish in this, and... Damn, dog. It sounds like you were maybe like 1 point of badness from that joke off of getting dumped. Be careful about what you text her.
Hold it!
Laura Blackwell also saw a suspicious figure in the lounge, but she gave the statement that it was too dark to see the person's face clearly. Did you see this figure's face clearly? No, not clearly. The light they were holding illuminated the area around their feet at the time, but other than that I could see little else. That's why I could see Taryn, but I couldn't see who the other person was. I like to live dangerously. Text something even worse to my wife. I also like to live dangerously. I'll stay. So for all you know, it might not have been Mr. Starbuck, isn't that correct? I would like to believe that. Starbuck isn't the type of man who's capable of murder.
Objection!
When a witness entered the boarding lounge, there is no third person there. Isn't that correct? Great Space Center Director. Yes, that's right. Only Starbuck and Taryn were there by that time. After we peeked in, the lounge suddenly went dark and the figure vanished. You mean they disappeared? That's odd.
Objection!
I didn't think we were in a Harry Potter novel. The reason the figure appeared to vanish is because it was the defendant. When the witnesses weren't looking, he fell to the floor and feigned unconsciousness. That's huge speculation. Again, in the middle of this testimony, and that is not where that belongs, unless you're going to ask him directly about it. Like, is there an apparatus, perhaps, in the room that maybe could have allowed something like that to happen? Hold on, Director Cosmos, did you ever take your eyes off of the scene? Just for a brief instant, about as long as it takes for our shooting star to go by. You took your eyes off the scene. Then this third person could have escaped during that time. But what escape route could this person have used? The opposite fucking door. The direction opposite the control room, the southern door to the elevators. There's no security lock on that door, so it would have been possible to escape that way.
Objection!
All things are... This is like one of the most dumb as rock counter arguments you can ever make in a courtroom. Well, anything's possible. Just worthless. Absolutely worthless. And I think less of anyone that says that. The real question is, do you have any proof? Just ask me that. Just ask me that. Don't do the Godot thing about saying something completely fucking asinine before getting your point. Well? If we're just talking possibilities, we could profess whatever we'd like. An inmate who used to... Oh, God. An inmate who used to be a university professor and lunar researcher. An inmate who used to be a university professor and lunar researcher used to say that there is a kingdom of little green men who live under the surface of the moon. As long as they don't punish us in the name of said moon for what we've done to it. What did we do to the moon? First of all, the moon wouldn't be there without the Earth in the first place. We didn't blow off its atmosphere. Those craters on the moon didn't come from us shooting shit at it. Oh, we planted a flag. Oh, crumbled their fucking civilization. Yeah, we walked on it, allegedly. Do you have proof? Can you just show me the proof that we walked on the moon? Well, here's the video. Show me that wasn't a TV studio. Show me the proof that it wasn't a TV studio. I don't have to do that. It is you who are making that claim. The burden of proof is on you. Now, it's shifted to you to now disprove what I am saying. I don't have to do that. In the name of the moon, fuck off. In the name of the moon, I would punish you. It is interesting, out of all those planets that are significantly better than the moon, fucking the moon was the leader. Even Earth. Like, how the hell did that work out? Well, I say, where's your proof that this quaint kingdom exists? He's calling your theory a work of fiction, boss. I'm not an idiot, Athena, and he's right. I don't have any proof yet. Still, Southern Door was a possible escape route. I better make a mental note of that. Director Cosmos, may I ask you a question? Yes. Why did you look away from the boarding lounge? There's actually another tale of bravery behind the answer to that. It was when Detective Arm saw the figure and raised a gun. God damn it. Being a great humanitarian protector of mankind, I tried to stop her. I said no! What? You're saying Detective Arm raised her gun as soon as she saw the figure? I imagine her instincts as a detective told her that they were the killer. Objection, speculation. You have no way of knowing that! Were you able to prevent Detective Arm from firing her gun? I'm afraid I was too late. I was unable to stop her. Although I guess technically we asked the question. Oh no, we didn't. We just asked if that happened, and and then he speculated as to the why, instead of just answering as to the did. It is, yes. I mean, let's see. I mean, it's been like that, I think. At least I remember making it like that. Like, I could bring it down, but then it's gonna kind of squish. Like that. Doesn't that look squished? Maybe not. Yeah, it looks kind of... I mean, I don't know. We can go with this. Big round space thing. Hey, that works for me. I'm afraid I was too late. I was unable to stop her. She identified herself clearly, and then She fired 2 warning shots at the shadowy figure. This information about Detective Arm's actions sounds critically important. So much so that I banged my gavel for some reason. Please add it to your testimony. Although the judge does have a good instinct here. I mean, that wasn't fucking obvious.
Objection!
Are you sure you were really paying attention to what Detective Arm was doing? You doubt my words! Words that will someday be written down in history books! Somehow I don't think that those exact words will ever be written down in any history books. Oh yeah. Mr. Wright, could you please explain yourself so that we can all understand? You say that Detective Arm fired 2 warning shots, and yet only 1 bullet hole was ever found at the scene. What? Only 1 bullet hole means the gun was only fired once. It could be that the third party got shot. Although, I guess the problem with that theory is if the third party got shot, why would there have been, like, no blood anywhere? Not that that wouldn't be impossible, but it makes it unlikely. And yet, Director Cosmos is saying Detective Arm fired 2 shots. No editor would allow such a glaring contradiction into a history book.
Objection!
Unfortunately for you, a witness's words are true. We confirm that 2 shots were fired from Detective Arm's gun.
Objection!
Then where's the other bullet? Well, we knew where the other bullet is, actually. But there was only 1 bullet hole at the scene. Where did the other bullet hole vanish to? Ah! You should know the answer to that already. I should? In the previous trial, an oxygen tank was presented as evidence. We've already discussed that it was ruptured in the lounge, have we not? It appears that the thing that ruptured it was a bullet. A bullet that was found near the tank, to be precise. This bullet was fired from a .38 caliber gun. The same caliber as the detective's gun. What? Get dunked. The rifling marks also match up. There's no question that the bullet was fired from Detective Arm's gun. Rifling marks, they're like a gun's fingerprints on a bullet, correct? I know we've been over this in literally every game that's ever been, Ace Attorney-wise, including the investigation games. And it might have even been in one of the great Ace Attorney games, but let's talk about it again. Examining the rifling marks on a bullet can tell us the gun it was fired from. One of the bullets the detective fired found its way into the holographic image display. The other bullet came to a stop near the victim's oxygen tank. The evidence confirms the director's statements that the detective fired 2 shots. My beautiful contradiction. Gone. Oh, gone. Why are all my contradictions gone? So that bullet hole was from a .38 caliber, huh? I better update the record. Very good. Now we know the fate of both of the shots Detective Arm fired. Mr. Wright, does that clear up all of your questions? Detective Arm fired 2 warning shots. One hit the holographic display and the other hit the oxygen tank. Does that really clear up everything about what happened at the scene? Does it really? What was that, a 10 caliber handgun? No. No, Your Honor, it doesn't. Detective Arm fired 2 warning shots from a .38 caliber gun, but that doesn't explain the existence of a certain piece of evidence found at the scene. A piece that points to the existence of a third person. Oh? Very well, but it won't do to keep us waiting, Mr. Wright. What piece of evidence suggests the possibility of a third person at the scene? It's gotta be this, right?
Take that!
And what is this metal pellet supposed to be? Mr. Rada, why are you presenting me with a BB pellet? Just a little something of great importance we found at the crime scene, Your Honor. You found it? You found it where? In a floor gutter at the crime scene. Looks like the police and prosecution both missed it because you guys are fucking incompetent. Furthermore, this is a 10 caliber bullet, making it much smaller than one of Detective Arm's 38 calibers. That means exactamundo. One person must have been there in the one more person must have been there in the lounge. A third person who had a gun that could fire 10 caliber bullets. Good. Oh, okay. To be fair, he could have thought it meant 0.39 inches, which is also stupid. It's how big the gun is. The fucking barrel's like this. It would just explode. Oh. A 39-inch handgun. A fucking handgun this big. This nigga trying to pull that thing out of its holster. You gotta go. Oh, that would be worthless. If that's true, it explains why Detective Arm fired warning shots. This third person fired at Detective Arm and Director Cosmos with her gun, and in return, the detective fired her warning shots. Yeah, but then why were the gunshots, or the bullet found in the opposite part of the room? We have to figure that out. Right, wasn't it? I think? It would have been behind where the guy would have been shooting. Or gal, or whatever. Person. Isn't that how it really went down, Director Cosmos? Yeah. Looks like you've deduced my miraculous tale of survival. Yes, you're absolutely correct. The mystery person fired upon us. But what's this now? Perjury! 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 What? You never braved a word of any of this to me before? Well, all great men have a secret or two, don't you know? No, I ain't gonna buy that. Yeah, Professor Cosmos. Professor Blackwell. Tss, foolish old geezer. So Director Cosmos really has been hiding the presence of a third person all along. Director Cosmos, I want you to testify to the court about what you really saw. You may be a very great man, but in my courtroom you are just another witness. You won't receive special treatment here. Not unless you were a young pretty lady, in which case I would treat you with the, softest of kid gloves possible. Mr. Wright, I swear to God, if you press one wrong thing, your case is over. Yeah, CJ. See, sometimes it's like, well, yeah, I could Google it, but the fragmented chat in YouTube is so much more interesting and engaging than me just going to a search engine and getting the answer I want. I'm not being sarcastic. I truly believe that. in inches or in millimeters. Way to be ambiguous, Wikipedia. Yeah, Detective Arm and I rushed to the control room together. In the lounge, We saw a figure standing in the middle of the room, antenna on the floor. We were still in the control room to the east when the figure fired at us. Given that there was no third person in the lounge when the witness entered it, does this mean the person who fired the gun had to have been the defendant? Not necessarily. It's still possible that it was someone else. Most likely, as soon as Detective Arm and Director Cosmos discovered this person, they escaped through the southern door, the one that didn't have a security lock.
Objection!
Yo, what's up, Chris? I can assure you! Double-edged swords are a tricky lot. Mishandle one, then it is you who is cut down. Huh? Your reasoning could apply if Space Boy were the killer as well. Think about it. After being discovered, he could have fired the 10 caliber gun. Detective Arm would have responded. Guy did it again. Detective Arm would have responded by firing 2 warning shots. All he had to do was feign unconsciousness to invent the possibility of a third person.
Objection!
But Mr. Starbuck didn't have a gun in his possession when he was found by police. A good counter-argument, though not airtight. Nor has a gun been found at the crime scene. Its absence can only be explained if there was a third party who took it with them.
Objection!
Call the existence of a trash chute in the boarding lounge. Defendant could have simply thrown the gun down the chute.
Objection!
Did you check? We can go check right now. It would have been impossible for him to remove it, right? If he did throw it down the chute? I guess I can't check. They might not be able to check if the garbage was already like turned over. Although it shouldn't have been. Look, fucking crime scene. Well, I'd still have to wear glasses. Just have contacts now. And now I got purty little blue eyes. Dark blue eyes, but purty dark blue eyes all the same. I've had these for, what, half a year now? In a while. And for the first time, this past weekend, my mom was like, "They make your eyes look blue." And I'm like, have you just not looked at me in the eyes the past 6 months? Because they've always been like this. I would hope it would cover basic contacts. It wouldn't cover these. These things are ridiculous. Like, my insurance covered these things because I have a disease. That's it. Not just for corrective vision. My eyes literally have diseases. And so medical insurance covers it, not vision. And I still had to pay a lot of money for them. CJ, that's a whole nother level of. Are you sure there isn't like something more going on with you? My glasses broke. They just wore, they were a thinner type of metal. They were really nice. They were really comfortable because they were really light. But then it made sense that they fell apart. So I'm back to my old glasses. I gotta get another pair. But you can't deny the possibility of a third person leaving with the weapon.
Objection!
It's up to you to prove that possibility. I trust you haven't forgotten my little piece of decisive evidence. You don't have decisive evidence. Nothing the prosecution whatever says is decisive evidence is actually decisive evidence. Why do we know this? Because they always lose after calling something decisive evidence. Oh my god. But Phoenix does have to provide evidence. He's right about that. Well, you know what they say, good way to cure glaucoma, right? Tennessee have medical marijuana? Not Tennessee. Kentucky have medical marijuana? What? How do you even do that? Like, okay. Just the stirring, okay. That's weird, but I could see that happening. The mac and cheese thing, though. I wonder if there is a KFC/cannabis store somewhere. That'd be nice. Oh yeah, this decisive evidence. What evidence? Well, the detonator switch that was found in Mr. Starbuck's pocket, not naturally. The most compelling evidence of all that tells us he is the culprit. That tells you he's the culprit of the bombing, not of the murder, though. I did forget all about that. I can't stand the smell either, but there's no denying its benefits. Look, your baldness, how deliciously obvious it is that they lack the evidence. Look, your baldness, how deliciously obvious it is that they lack the evidence to rival mine. Wow, he sliced our third-person theory to ribbons and served it to us, just like that. Yes, well, I have a question of my own, actually. That bullet that the mysterious figure shot, what did it hit exactly? It hit me. So does that mean you're a ghost? The two stupidest characters in gaming history both made the same mistake at some point. One time I had a fever and was convinced I had to give a diplomatic speech and tried to signal a helicopter by pressing my optical mouse to my window. Holy shit. I mean, like, if I've ever been that delirious, I don't have a memory of it. Like, I don't have memory of something like that. I was wondering when you realized that your boldness. Director Cosmos is an authentic, bona fide ghost. He can even pass through walls. Hey!
Objection!
Prosecutor Blackwell, shame on you for teasing the nice old gentleman. Your boldness, it was all in jest. Please show yourself again. Are you sure? In that case, how'd you manage to survive being shot, Director Cosmos? Yeah, I'm glad you asked. It was a miracle befitting a great, history-making figure such as myself. The bullet in my glorious Medal of Honor, whereby it ricocheted, thus saving my life. What? Stop the beavers from coming through. It sounds like y'all got slipped some, like, psychedelic drugs and did not know. 'Cause holy shit. That's unbelievable. I have to check this out. Oh, wow. Look at that. There's one extra Gaxa star. The odds are literally astronomical. Guess it really was a miracle. It's beginning to really feel like the Cosmos is watching out for Director Cosmos. But why did you conceal this information, Director Cosmos? A great man such as myself has to hide things on occasion, no matter how much it hurts. It is the plight of the truly great. It may be hard for this generation to understand. I don't know, sure sounds fishy to me. What else is he hiding? Let's just cross-examine him and see what we can find out. Now then, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, please. What hurts most is being so close and having so much to say and watching you walk away. There's Arnold into... I don't even know. The guy who sings Like a Rock? I don't even know who that is. Good. It should have been an experience. The east, to the east.
Objection!
Director Cosmos, I believe you are telling this great court a glorious lie. A great man like me tell a lie? Have you ever heard of such a thing in all of history? My accusation is based on the positions of the people who were in the lounge. According to your testimony, you and Detective Arm were near the control room door. And the mystery figure was standing in the middle of the boarding lounge. If, as you say, the figure fired a gun at you from this position, then the bullet would have traveled in this direction. However, we found the 10 caliber bullet here. Trust us, bro. Oh! This trajectory and where the bullet was actually found contradict each other. If you trust us, Director Cosmos, where were you really when you were being shot at? Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the human merry-go-round.
Objection!
Don't tell me you've forgotten already. Didn't the witness himself just tell you? A bullet hit his metal. Of this, there is no mistake.
Objection!
Could have shot twice. But in that case, the bullet should have been found near the east side of the room. Are you trying to say that you can explain this inconsistency? Of course. I didn't think so. What? Oh, great Director Cosmos. Yes. Is there something you'd like me to expound upon? You were in fact not in the control room to the east, were you? You were looking into the lounge from the door to the south. Is that not right? Yes! Which also means that that escape route would be cut off. What are you getting at? Use your own brain. Use your own brain. Your head must have some use. Your head must have some use other than housing that bird's nest. Bird's nest? Why does everyone pick on my hair? It's fucking ridiculous. Director Cosmos. He was leading. He was leading. Director Cosmos, the detective, witnessed a scene from the southern door. The killer fired at them there, and that is why the bullet was found in the south. Ah, that makes some sense, actually. Also, the witness being at the southern door is rather favorable for the prosecution, so let's just go with it then. I've got a bad feeling about this. How about it, Director? How about it, Director, if you don't tell the truth this time? Yahoo! His handcuffs! You will become but rust upon my sword. I relish the chance to cut down a great man. Alright, I'll tell the truth, just put your sword away. You are correct. I, the great Yuri Cosmos, was looking into the room from the southern door. What? That's the complete opposite of all the testimony he's given so far. Now you've lost your possibility that a third person was in the room. I have? How? The director and the detective were near the southern door. Meaning the killer couldn't have escaped through here. Or there. Western door required print recognition. Corridor beyond was filled with smoke. Now the escape route left was the eastern control door. The only way to get through there was with Director Cosmos' fingerprints. In short, there would be no escape for any third person had there been one. My third person just disappeared, like in one of Trucy's magic tricks. What a order in the court. Yeah, rip literally. The death threats were sustained. Nope. 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 No. God, I feel like I'm talking to my dog. No. 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 We're not mentioning the P word. I forgot that I had those emotes on there. Order in the court. Director Cosmos, why'd you tell such an outrageous lie? You were covering for the defendant, isn't that right? Yes, it was all for the love of my men. If I said I was in the eastern control room, it would mean the culprits could have escaped through the southern door. It would have meant that there could have been a third person. All I wanted to do was protect Starbuck. I said I was in the control room to invent an escape route for a third person. What a convoluted lie. Is he really covering for the defendant? It looks like we've come to a conclusion. At defense's argument, the possibility of a third person has crumbled. No! Oh, it's over. Yikes. The judge is about to hand down his verdict. Think, Phoenix. Think. This is the perfect time to try and turn my thinking around. The third person had no way of escaping the scene. Then what if one of the people at the scene was this third person? Wait! What if the whole premise is all wrong? Director Cosmos says that he and Detective Arm rushed to the scene together. But what if that premise isn't true? What if one of them reached the scene before the other one? And if that person entered the lounge, then they would be the third person. The defendant is the only one who could have killed the victim and shot at the director. There doesn't appear to be any room for argument against these claims. I love saying conclusory statements with no evidence to actually back up what I'm saying. I will now render my verdict.
Objection!
Please wait, Your Honor. There is still one possibility. Oh, this had better be good, Mr. Wright. Is it ever not, Your Honor? Good Lord. There is one and only one person who could have escaped from the scene, and that person would be the first person who arrived on the scene. Then, upon entering the boarding lounge, the second person to arrive came via the southern door. That's why the first person fled from the room, using an escape route that was accessible only to them. Very well, let's hear more about this theory. Who is the one person who could have escaped from the boarding lounge?
Take that!
What? But that's... Mr. Wright, what are you claiming here? Of all the people who were at the scene, only the witness could have escaped. The director is the only one with the authority to open the control room door, after all. But that means... Exactly. The true identity of the third person is our current witness. Director Yuri Cosmos. What? What? Order in the court, I say. Mr. Wright, you will explain yourself in more detail. He's stuck in the Lost Woods, Lugia. You must find him. I assert that Director Cosmos arrived at the scene before Detective Arm and entered the boarding lounge alone. Detective Arm arrived after that and saw a suspicious figure who was actually Director Cosmos standing in the lounge. And that's why she fired those 2 warning shots. I've been hit on the starboard side! Captain Wright, it's a direct hit on the enemy ship, sir. A magnificent shot. Warning shots fired from the enemy ship. Prepare to intercept. Cosmos, you have told a lie in his court once again. I've been hit on the port side. The enemy has called in reinforcements. Earth to Cosmos Control Center, requesting permission to ask that you return to reality. But my ship will not go down to anything less than the ultimate weapon of evidence.
Objection!
But I do have evidence. In fact, you could say that your battleship bears its scar. Director Cosmos is the third person Aura Blackwell saw. This third person... We just did this. Director Cosmos must have been the one who fired the 10 caliber gun. When Detective Arm discovered him in the lounge, it only makes sense that he would have turned and shot at her. Therefore, the evidence on the director's body is of a different kind of relevance than before. Once we compare it against another piece of evidence, the mark that you received from the third party will be all the proof we need to prove that you were the one there in the lounge. Brace for further impact! Get to the chopper! Get to the shuttle! Comparison against this piece of evidence will prove that you were the one in the lounge.
Take that!
The 38 caliber bullet found on the floor at the scene didn't hit the oxygen tank. Director Cosmos' metal. If we have that ricochet mark on the metal analyzed, I'm sure the caliber will match up. And if that mark proves to be from a 38 caliber bullet, it will prove that you are the third person we've been looking for. That bridge is destroyed, losing altitude, all hands abandoned ship! If that's true, then what about the bullet that hit the oxygen tank? It was a 10 caliber bullet. In other words, it was the bullet fired by Yuri Cosmos. Isn't that right, Director? No! No, you've got it all wrong! What? You have started again? It's on me. Get to the scooter! Get to the Segway! Hey, Amir. What are you... Wait, what are you talking about? On the... that? I actually got Ace Attorney, Oh, but that's right, I got that from a website. I wonder if I can find that same Ace Attorney text style on that website. Yo, what's up, Light? Okay, let's try this again before the hiccup appeared. A wild hiccup appeared. Do re mi fa sol la ti. Oh! What? The engines have started again. It's a miracle. I'm not going down yet. Witness, stop this at once and confess to the truth. You don't want the history books to say that a great man was a great liar. And accept your fate and tell the truth. Athena, did you just fucking take my line? God damn it. Are you giving me orders? Me, the great director of the Cosmos Space Center. But the cosmos revolves around me. Someone get me off of this thing. I should just start projectile vomiting everywhere. Order the court. Will someone please stop the witness from spinning? Whew. Thank goodness we were able to stop him from spinning off the face of the earth. Oh, he's twirling. I took the liberty of running an analysis on the mark of the metal. It was made by a 38 caliber bullet, matching it with the size of Detective Arm's firearm. No! Are you ready to confess the truth, witness? No! You've got it all wrong! You suggest a misunderstanding! You going to start piling on more lies? Looks like it. No matter how many lies he tells, I'll just expose them one by one. I'll make that big liar tell the truth. Wow. That was a really short segment. Maybe it's not the fact that you're watching a stream, but the circumstances around you that allow you to watch the stream in the first place are what is making you shiver with excitement. Director Cosmos, a new possibility has been presented by the defense. They are claiming that you are this third person. And we are studying physics. This is a space case. We're not gonna get more physics than that in your case, or your whatever class you're in right now. Did you study? Yep, I watched the Phoenix Wright case. That took place at a space center. No, don't actually tell anybody that. I mean, I get excited to interact with everyone, especially now that I only get to do it mostly once a week. Okay, still talk on Discord, but that's not the same. This is closer to being in like a real conversation. I shouldn't say real. Real's not the right word. real time dialogue as opposed to like, you know. I wish I had a 3DS with a capture card, but I don't. Those things are fucking expensive. Yeah, face-to-face. Face-to-face. So yeah, it is Android emulated through BlueStacks. Oh, it's definitely a bit of anxiety, because I know exactly what that feels like. Although for me, when that happened, it was like an excited anxiety. Because you can be both excited and anxious at the same time, right? Yeah, this is basically like I have a phone on my computer that I can just play on my computer screen. You're not pirating the games or anything. These aren't ROMs. I'm still paying for the game. I can just play it on my computer instead of on my phone. Well, that's a good question. I guess I've seen anxiety and excitement as they can happen together, but they don't mean, like, anxiety is not a part of excitement. I could be wrong though. I guess I don't know what the definition of excitement is. Oh, forgive me, I'm so sorry. So the great plenty of space development is revealed to be just another fabulous cur. I have only one question for the likes of you. Shall I send you off quickly or very quickly? The evidence doesn't lie, Director Cosmos, so don't try to talk your way out of this. Fine, I'll tell the truth. It's all just as you say, Mr. Wright. It's true that I was there in the boarding lounge. I got there before Detective Arm, and when she arrived, she fired warning shots at me. See, you're probably right. You're probably right, technically. But, like, in actual practice, excitement is never used in that way. Here. It maybe elsewhere it is. I came into my room and I was pointing the gun at me. I was excited. Like, that's not how it would be. That might technically be correct, but that's not how it's used. Funny how like the technical aspect versus actual practice is always a super interesting dichotomy. I was afraid people would mistake me for the killer, so I escaped to the control room. I then went past the elevators and all the way around the boarding lounge one again. Oh God, what happened? I thought I heard something. Ignore this bullet hole on my badge. I came up behind Detective Arm and pretended to be the second on the scene. That's kind of slick, actually. What a troublesome old man you are, with such convoluted deeds and thoughts. I see. So then, are you still insisting that you did not kill the victim? Of course I am. When I arrived at the lounge alone, I saw the true killer. The great Yuri Cosmos was a history-making witness.
Hold it!
Now hold on just one moment. We just proved a few minutes ago that the third person that Mr. Starbuck and Miss Aura Blackwell saw was you. No, it wasn't me. I saw the person as well. If I was the killer, why would I lie to cover for Starbuck? I would just leave him to take the fall. That is an excellent point. Well, it makes some sense if you told those lies to cover for Mr. Starbuck. Still, a lie's a lie, Athena. Okay, Phoenix. So Director Cosmos claims he's not the culprit, but where's the proof? Oh, I just remembered. I have an alibi. You just told us you were there. Miss Blackwell said that she saw the killer at 10 a.m., correct? Yes, and? Well, I was on the 4th floor helping you with the evacuation effort. Ask any member of the staff you'd like. They'll corroborate me. That's a hard word to say, man. The rector is not fibbing to the court for once. I confirm that he has an alibi for the time specified. So, you're claiming that Miss Blackwell saw the killer commit the crime first at 10 a.m. and that you arrived at the lounge after that? Yes, I believe the person I saw in the set is the same person that Miss Blackwell saw. Although it was pitch black, so it was more of a shadowy figure and less of a person. And I couldn't actually see their face, but it was definitely the silhouette of an earthling. That might be the most useless description of a person I have ever heard. Can you describe him for me? Yeah, the silhouette of a human being. So, there's that. I'm not sure if that helps you at all. Objection, speculation. I want to hear more expert testimony about how this man knew it was the silhouette of an earthling and not a moon alien. This is the Danganronpa killer, right? The most notorious killer in all of visual novel history. The Gray Man. As long as he has an alibi, we can't very well claim Director Cosmos is the killer. No, we can't. Then again, maybe we won't need to yet. I wonder if he was really covering for Mr. Starbuck. Your Honor, the defense moves to have the director testify about the person he saw. Very well. Director Cosmos, your testimony, please. They had roughly 2 arms. Can I confirm, though? It was dark. I think he had opposable digits, but that's just a guess. God, that's the, wimpiest piece of shit bullet shot ever. As I tried to enter the lounge, the true killer inside fired a gun at me. I had to avoid getting shot. Hid where? But when I tried to get another look, they had vanished into thin air. I mean, he's right. It's kind of sad that he had to, question his choice. I said Djibouti yesterday. In a client consultation, I got to say the word Djibouti without making some sort of joke, being completely serious. The Middle East is not a continent, no. Trep's joking! Well, never mind. You pushed him over the edge. Now he's gonna take over. Now that's his life goal. The Middle East is going to become its own continent. God damn it. I was there at the elevator side door, and, well, the launch pad had one door. And the control room door should have been shut tight to the killer. So you were shot at by the killer as well? And then they disappeared. Yes, though luckily no harm came to my glorious body. Unfortunately, the bullet hit Terran's oxygen tank. I know because I heard a pang. That must have been the sound of the tank being ruptured. Well, did you hear a pang and then a hiss? Because then that'd be more believable. Wait, but I thought the bullet hit his metal. That was Detective Arm's bullet, remember? Detective's arm bullet. Right. What a mess this turned into. So let's see. Director Cosmos is claiming that when he found Mr. Terran and his killer, the culprit shot a 10 caliber bullet at him. Right, but it actually hit Mr. Terran's oxygen tank and ruptured it. And then the killer disappeared and the director went into the boarding lounge. When Detective Arm caught up and fired those warning shots at him. Judging by his medal, it looks like one of them almost took him out, too. Good summary, but that doesn't explain where our mystery killer went. Director Cosmos, I was wondering if you could elaborate on when the figure disappeared. I'm ashamed to admit I tried to hide myself when I was shot at, but when I peeped back into the lounge, the real killer was gone. I rushed into the lounge straight away to investigate, but what I found was staring with a knife in his chest and Starbuck out cold on the floor. So we have a culprit who vanished from a scene that had no escape route. Vanished without a trace. It's truly like one of the great mysteries of the cosmos.
Silence.
Not unless Detective Arm was the killer. It's just not necessarily likely. A riddle of the ages indeed, but I'd rather know how a fibbing leech such as you can be lauded as great. A great man is always misunderstood in his own time, but he must remain true to himself even if those around him don't understand. I don't know, Stephen Hawking is pretty appreciated. Wow, that might be the first true statement he said all day. How do you suppose this person managed to vanish so suddenly? Simple, because it was Space Boy himself. When he was spotted by the director and aura, he quickly feigned unconsciousness. That would certainly take all the mystery out of the idea of a vanishing culprit. I want to raise an objection, but I don't have any counter evidence. Director Cosmos, when you saw this person, did you also see Mr. Starbuck on the floor? No, because it was dark as a black hole in there. Okay, buddy. Now we are making extreme exaggerations. It was entirely devoid of light? Really? Entirely devoid of light? Shamed. As an admirer of space, I'm ashamed by his horrendous simile. Yeah, right. We all became spaghettified. I didn't see Starbuck until the other person vanished and I entered the room. That wasn't exactly helpful. I'm prepared to accept your surrender, right, Dono? Can't find any black holes in this testimony, but I can't give up. Mr. Wright, why don't you let me help? Huh? Our director was giving his testimony on detective a cacophony of discord. Athena, you never, ever have to use that word in a sentence when talking to a normal human being. Which means he's hiding his true feelings from us, huh? This just might help us find out what happened to our vanished killer. That'd be great, Athena. Let's see what you can do with him. You got it, boss. Wouldn't want to miss this chance to delve into a great mind. Yuri Cosmos, prepare to hand over the secrets of your heart to me. Okay, Phantom Thief, relax. I don't know. It's got Astro in the name. I'm doing it. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I suck at physics and science. Okay, relatively speaking. I consider myself to be an intelligent person, but science, math, those are my weaknesses. But if it has something to do with astronomy or something like that, I'm doing it. I don't care how difficult it'll be. Oh, don't worry. I don't require your validation. I'm just... Like, in your situation, I was just saying, like, that's why I would have chose astrophysics, not a matter of, like, what was more difficult or not. It's just because that's how interested I am in it. Yeah, that's unfortunate when your teachers are not great. It can really, really stunt somebody's growth. As I tried to enter the lounge, the true killer inside fired a gun at me. Man, I hid to avoid getting shot. But when I tried to get another look, they had vanished into thin air. I was near the elevator side door. And well, the launch pad one door. The control room door should have been shut tight to the killer. Talk about mixed feelings. Must be trying to account for a number of contradictions. Mr. Wright, maybe this time we shouldn't just look for contradictory emotions. Let's also look for emotions that should be there but aren't. Yes, it shouldn't be a surprise that his mind is a convoluted place too. He must have felt very shaken and distressed at the time. Let's focus on the fluctuations in his emotions and see what we can uncover. You must have thought it was very strange that the killer vanished into thin air. I did. That kind of thing just doesn't happen usually. Usually. And yet at that time, you barely registered any shock at the occurrence. What? Why are you... I can only think of one reason as to why you weren't surprised by the killer's vanishing act. You must have had a good idea of where they went, isn't that right? What? No, of course not. That's preposterous. Only I can enter the control room. The area beyond the launch pad door was filled with smoke, making it impassable. And as for the southern door, I was standing right there. There was nowhere for the killer to run to. Maybe, or maybe not. You went into the room to check on Mr. Starbuck and Mr. Taryn, right? What if the culprit took that opportunity to silently slip out through the southern door? I highly doubt it. As you recall, right after I entered the lounge, Detective Arm came rushing toward it herself via the southern hallway. Anyone trying to escape through there would have been caught by her. And yet the director wasn't surprised the killer vanished. You're absolutely sure there was no escape route for the culprit to use. It's working, boss. One more punch and it'll be a knockout. Seems to be one more emotion that's at odds with his testimony. Go get him. Okay, back into the Matrix it is. Time to pinpoint our way to victory. I know. Psychological Kung Fu. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you seem to be afraid of the launch pad door. Was it because that garbage chute's next to it? The great Cosmos afraid? And what basis do you have for that outlandish accusation? Whether I have any basis or not, you seem quite distressed by it. I'm most certainly not. Director Cosmos, there's something about the launchpad door you're not telling us, isn't there? Wow, he's speechless. Looks like you hit the nail on the head, boss. I'll just input those 2 pieces of data, and yes, just what I wanted to see. Presto changeo, less discord. Looks like we're on the right track. Thanks, Athena. Now to make sense of what we've learned. Director Cosmos wasn't surprised that the culprit suddenly vanished from the lounge, which points to the possibility that he knew where the killer had escaped to. Furthermore, talking about the door to the launch pad made him uneasy. In other words, he's probably hiding something about the Launchpad 1 door. When we put these 2 pieces together, only one solution to this puzzle comes to mind. Director Cosmos, did the real killer escape through here? It's either here or here.
Take that!
Culprit went through Launchpad door 1 to escape, didn't they? Yes, I mean, no! This has to the starboard! We're going to crash into an asteroid! Master tactician, you are not. This game has its ups and downs. Say that. The area beyond the door was filled with smoke, wasn't it? True, but this is still the only logical answer there is. We can just figure out what the director is hiding about the Launchpad 1 door. There would have to be an entire video for me to go over all the downs. The ups are a little more, I don't want to say simple, but they're much more, broad, I guess. We should be able to iron out the logical inconsistencies. God, well, that door requires fingerprint recognition. Go back and watch. If you're really curious, you'll go back and watch, or wait for the vodka to come out. Only Starbucktarian and I have access. I don't see how the killer could have opened that security lock, do you? Well, that's a personal problem. I'm gonna cry, you bully me. I'm not bullying you, I'm making a suggestion. You don't have to do it. I'm not forcing your head into a toilet. Suggesting that if you would like to place your head in the toilet, you may. You know, I'm not gonna force you to do it. If you'd like to do it of your own accord. You haven't heard what one? Yeah, the writing is very uneven. It can either be really good or really, really bad. That's an easy one. The killer was right there in the boarding lounge, meaning there's a way you could have easily gotten past that security lock. That is the joke. Or that it's like toilet humor, akin to like toilet humor, very lowbrow. It is stereotypical, but I did do that on purpose as like a mini shot myself, like, we're toilet humor. Do I actually think so? No. Do I think I'm the most sophisticated humor you ever find? No. But I'm not the worst either. It is called the swirly then. Apparently more often than I've ever heard, because in all my years, anecdotal, so it doesn't mean this applies anywhere else, only in my own personal situations. But I never witnessed or heard of or like nothing in all my years of like pre-college years. I never once encountered that as something that happened or even proposed to have happened. People did other shit that was fucked up, but never that one. I don't know why. Hey, fanboy. But yeah, I mean, it must happen to somebody. Come to think of it, we did examine the prints on the fingerprint recognition device. I propose that the killer use this person's fingerprints to get past the security lock. Wasn't it? He had his glove off, didn't he?
Take that!
No. Who had their glove off? That's funny. Oh yeah, he had his glove taken off, but they did that, right? Okay, let's try this again. Whose fingerprints were they? Did we? What did I do to screw this up? I like got rid of a layer somehow. Starbucks prints are authorized.
Take that!
That's... Mr. Starbuck was lying unconscious there in the boarding lounge. Anybody could have easily gotten past the security lock by using Mr. Starbuck's prints. Actually, Mr. Starbuck's prints are exactly what we found on the device's screen. Hold on. We're gonna... This is a... I should save anyways. What? Oh, shit. Cover your ears. God damn it. Oh, thank God we were at a quiet part. So many things happened at once. What diagonal bars are you talking about? Okay, now the layer is back. It does not appear as though the sound has been corrected. And actually, Mr. Starbuck's prints are exactly what we found on the device's screen. Looks like he does have something to hide about the launchpad one door. I'm betting it's got something to do with the culprit's escape route. But I don't have enough information to see the whole picture yet. You know, something just occurred to me. Would you like to hear it? Huh? Oh, yes, by all means. There's a security camera in Boarding Lounge 1. Right, the one that recorded the victim and the defendant. What about it, Your Honor? If the true culprit escaped into the Launchpad 1 corridor, then that might be recorded on the security footage as well. Then the mystery would be solved. What do you think of my logic? I hope you didn't strain your faculties too much for that, your boldness. I beg your pardon? Look, if we play the security footage beyond this point... Oh my, the footage cuts off. Camera was running on backup power, but apparently the power cables were damaged. Most likely by the after effects of the explosion. There's no footage after this, be it of criminals or space aliens. And I thought it was such a good idea, too. Just because your grandchild is watching from the gallery, it doesn't mean you should try to show off too much. Grandpa boldness. Prosecutor Blackwell, how did you know about my grandchild? I think his grandchild just learned a little about the harshness of the adult world. Setting aside the issue of grandchildren, I'd like to have the witness continue. Director Cosmos, could you tell us more about when you entered the lounge? Yeah, if I must. Shouldn't he have been happy?
Got it.
Director Cosmos, why were you so surprised when Detective Arm found you, and again when she fired? Isn't that a bit unnatural? Okay, Gendo Akari, relax. Sadly, even great men such as myself have ordinary human feelings. Our bodies are bound by the forces of gravity and emotions. Even a great man such as myself experiences surprise on occasion. They likely wouldn't even have the trial in person after something like that happened for a little while. They'd probably be doing everything virtually for a short period of time for that exact reason. But I suppose if it was a system that didn't have if they think they've taken care of the threat, I guess it'd be fine. Yes, I'm sure you do. My real point is not the fact that you were surprised, but rather what you were surprised by. Pardon me? First, you were surprised when Detective Arm found you in the lounge. Just after that, you were, of course, again surprised when she shot you. But considering what you were surprised about, a strange phenomenon occurs here. Director Cosmos, what is strange about your surprise reaction is the fact that you were... This? Sure, you were surprised when Detective Arm shot at you, but the surprise you felt when she found you in the lounge was much greater. The fact that you were more surprised by simply being found than by being shot at suggests to me that you were conflicted about whatever it was you were doing there. The enemy has acquired a new weapon. Commence operation. Hide under your desk. Get to the desk. No! Please tell me I finally sunk his battleship. Love that game. Love that game. Boss, I'm getting less Discord now. That must mean he really is hiding something about that launch pad door. Whatever he's hiding most likely has something to do with the killer's escape. I wonder what it could be. He was doing something suspicious around that door. Maybe we can spot some change between before he came to the room and after. Detective Fulbright gave us a photo taken after the crime. Let's run a comparison. Let's see. Oh. 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 Let's see. This is footage of the door before Director Cosmos arrived. This is how the door looked after the director entered the lounge. Hey, look at that. There is a change. Something's definitely different. Director Cosmos? Fuck. What is it? What have you two been up to over there? Finding the answer to what you were doing when Detective Arm found you. That's what. And that answer lies clearly in this footage. All we have to do is compare it to the photo that was taken during the investigation. Don't be ridiculous. If you really do have an answer, you have pointed out. If you really do have an answer, you'd have pointed it out already. He's asking for it. This is what changed directly after the incident.
Take that!
The answer is this knob. And no, I'm not talking about you. That's... Your Honor, please take a look at this footage. Let's see. Take a look at the knob next to the launch pad door. As you can see, it's horizontal. Yes, it is, isn't it? However, when we investigated the scene of the crime yesterday, the knob was vertical. And what does that mean? It means that sometime between before the director arrived and after, someone turned this knob. After the scene was discovered, you were the only one who could have turned the knob. Come on now, Director Cosmos, let's hear what you have to say. What were you trying to do by turning that knob by the door? Fine, I admit it. You're right, I did turn that knob. The knob is a safety lock meant to keep the launch pad in place. I was afraid there would be more explosions, so I wanted to move the launch pad away. You wanted to do what? Hey, didn't Ponko tell us something about how they prepared for launch? She said that once the launch pad's fully assembled, it's moved to the launch site. But the safety lock in the boarding lounge has to be disengaged first. I guess that clears up what that knob is for. Oh, so if the killer escaped in the launch pad 1 corridor, maybe they were transported along with the launch pad to the launch site? I don't think so. Launch pad 1 corridor was filled with smoke. I don't think they could have escaped through that corridor. So then where did the killer go? I guess there are still some things we have to uncover. Director Cosmos, I request that you tell us about moving the launch pad in more detail. Fine. But listen carefully, if I'm about to give history-making testimony. You know, first of all, let's address the elephant in the room. Yes, he's a moron. It's the thing. It's the thing. I should give class rep a command for that. No choice. There is always choice. There we go. Alright, so second of all, I love how happy dude is. Like, I had no choice but to engage the safety lock.
Got it.
I had no choice but to engage the safety lock. Now, see, this is where the game shines in terms of some of its logic puzzles are very much like, well, that's common sense. And in old games, sometimes it would ignore the common sense and be like, oh, we gotta make it more difficult than that. But sometimes you have like in this game, you have a thought, and then it turns out to be that thought. You are rewarded for your critical thinking, as opposed to, yeah, you have to take your critical thinking and turn it on its head. Motherfucker, that's not how shit works in real life. You make it sound like you were reluctant to do so by saying something like, I had no choice. And yet, when you did it, you felt some joy, as if you were very pleased with yourself. How do you know everything as if you were there? Well, we have a cheat code. Pretty impressive, isn't it? This is the power of analytical psychology. No. No. It's the power of your motherfucking cheat code technology that you have. So, care to explain why you felt joy when you disengaged the safety lock? When I think back on the facts we've discovered up to this point, I have to believe that you were trying to fulfill some hidden agenda. How do you know about that, too? Because I'm more or less a pro at guessing. But you have no proof that I have a hidden agenda. Even if I did, I would never ever tell you, so there! I know they say people regress as they grow older, but you, sir, take the cake. How could you doubt a man with such great intensity, intelligence, and integrity? I really hope this is a Kurt Angle reference. And it's just not a coincidence. I really hope they put a pro wrestling reference in an Ace Attorney game, because that would be awesome. The three eyes. I have intensity, intelligence, and integrity. Oh, Kurt Angle. Heel Kurt Angle. Early heel Kurt Angle.
Silence.
You, a man of integrity? Don't make me laugh. Prosecutor Blackwell? What came over him all of a sudden? You've spouted nothing but falsity since you stepped up to the stand. You're not the kind of man. You're not the kind of man that would be glorified in the annals of history. Not for greatness, anyway, unless you consider greatest barefaced liar in honor. Liar! Sweet dreams. Soaked cracker. His words bite harder than his blade. You moved Launchpad 1 after the explosion? My, how naive you are. You fail to realize how even the facts themselves have betrayed you. You know, just a thought, but modern English can be your friend. And here's a thought for you. Immediately following the bombing, Launchpad 1 was on the boarding lounge one side. Please confirm this on scene. What? Liar! So that means the director didn't move the launch pad. The director didn't move the launch pad? Curse my judgment for calling history's greatest liar to the witness stand. Let us leave him to indulge in his lies and war games to his heart's content. Liar!
Objection!
But it doesn't make sense. You can't deny that someone turned that knob. Once the safety lock was released, I'm sure that pad must have went somewhere. If we chase down the truth of this issue, we might just find where the killer escaped to. Ah! You're sure it must have went somewhere? We just might find out. Your arguments are nothing but conjecture, bluffing, and wishful thinking. Stop chasing your fantasies and see reality for what it really is. Or you're not man enough to, boy. Oh, so now I'm a boy. Before I was an old man. Haha, talk about hitting below the belt. Youngins these days. I don't understand it. I'm sure Director Cosmos was supposed to move the launch pad. The knob was definitely turned after he came to the lounge. The launch pad is right where it's supposed to be. Ah. Wait a minute. Maybe I have it all backwards. What if the director turned the knob not to move the launch pad away, but to bring it back to where it was supposed to be? What are you blathering about? What if the launch pad was at the launch site before the incident? And then after the incident, Director Cosmos moved it back to its usual spot? All he had to do was turn the knob to call the launch pad back. And it would be right where the police found it. Ah! How many bangs could you possibly have? You made him sound like Mr. Starbuck. Was what I said really that off base? It pains me to have to explain how wrong your own logic is to you, however. Our great liar turned the knob only after he discovered the crime scene. Indeed, the pad existed beyond the lounge when our Astro Wonders made their escape. A fact that effect has been recorded by posterity on filmless film. Oh, right. So to reiterate, stop chasing your fantasies and see reality for what it really is, boy. Ah! There's a lot of jarring in this fucking case. Get a grip, Mr. Wright, and focus. We know the launch pad must have been moved, but our deductions and the actual facts of the case are in direct contradiction to each other. Well, maybe the two astronauts never actually boarded the rocket. This footage could be fake, taken with body doubles after the incident or something. On second thought, that's too far-fetched, even for me. Never actually boarded the rocket? Hey, wait a minute. Maybe, just maybe. Huh? Prosecutor Blackwell, what if I told you that the two astronauts never set foot inside the launch pad area, but instead went into another place? And what if when the director moved launch pad 1 back, it was not from the launch site, but from another place? What would you say then? Cut the existential bull or I'll cut you. Mr. Wright, would you explain yourself at once? You will explain yourself at once. I know I'm right. It was all the other way around from the beginning. Very well, Your Honor. Let me explain. Director Cosmos' reasoning for moving Launchpad 1 was... because he wanted to switch it with some other place. I'm sorry, but did you say switch it? But what could he possibly have switched the Launchpad with? Oh, you'd be surprised, Your Honor. All it takes is a little thinking outside the box, and the answer becomes clear as day. This is what was switched with Launchpad 1.
Take that!
Launchpad 1 was switched with the Space Museum? In the past, the Space Museum used to be Launchpad 2. Yeah, it's all the same features as Launchpad 1. It can even be moved from the launch site. Meaning the Space Museum and Launchpad 1 can also be switched with each other. You can't mean... The rocket the astronauts boarded was not the one in Launchpad 1. It was the one in the Space Museum. What? Balderdash! Okay, so there's a few problems. I'm sure one of them will be addressed. That's the most obvious one. How did they not realize they weren't getting into the real fucking rocket? The other one, I'm not sure they'll address. Normally launches have a lot of eyes on them. News, cameras, on the outside, not on the inside. And you're telling me no one outside witnessed two large buildings switching places with each other? Not one person. Sure, no one inside. I wouldn't have. They're panicked. Whatever. Fine. You can buy that. But that's an impressive structure. And again, the fact that there being nobody outside is kind of unbelievable. Maybe they'll explain that too. But and yet, it's the only explanation that accounts for every riddle and inconsistency. This is how the Space Center was just before the incident. I see Launchpad 1 and the Space Museum have already switched places. That's right, and with the two switched like this, the astronauts entered the Space Museum from Boarding Lounge 1. This allowed the True Killer to enter Launchpad 1 from Boarding Lounge 2. It set the bomb on the rocket. Come to think of it, the door to the Space Museum from Boarding Lounge 2 Exactly. Anyone could pass through the door to the Space Museum. There's no fingerprint recognition system on that door. In other words, with the two launch pads switched like that, someone other than Mr. Starbuck could have easily planted that bomb. Yeah! After setting the bomb on the rocket, the culprit snuck in the Boarding Lounge 1 and waited there, concealed, in order to kill Mr. Terran when the two astronauts emerged from the Space Museum. Recall that Miss Blackwell, Mr. Starbuck, and the director all saw a suspicious figure, who, we can suppose, after killing Mr. Terran, made their escape into the Space Museum. After that, Director Cosmos switched the two launch pads back, without realizing the killer was inside the Space Museum. The killer then left the Space Museum and made a clean getaway. Alright, no, I see you know how to handle the sword and handle it well. Perhaps I should call you Swordmaster Bluff. I'm a seasoned warrior who has cut down many a prosecutor, including you. Unless you can prove your theory, it's no better than a rusty sword. That's right, you have no proof I switched the launch pads. Somebody needs a better anger management counselor. If the launch pads really were switched, there might be a record of it somewhere. At this point, Launchpad 1 and the Space Museum were switched with each other. So the corridor beyond the door should be the one that belongs to the Space Museum. Let's see. This is an image of the Launchpad 1 corridor. You see anything different when we compare it to the security footage? Huh? A number on the floor. Oh, 1. Well, what do you know? Looks like we have proof after all, Prosecutor Blackwell. And if it's just another bluff... Oh, don't worry. It's all right here. That's a 2! Right in this footage. Proof that beyond this door is the corridor to the Space Museum. Very well then, answer this for me if you would. What in this footage proves the corridor belongs to the Space Museum?
Take that!
There's a 1 on the floor of the Launchpad 1 corridor. But take a look at the floor of the corridor in the security footage. Do you see the number on the floor behind the astronauts? Doesn't look like a 1, does it? That's because what you see is actually part of a 2. What? Why is it a 2 and not a 1? That's because the corridor receives the 1 to the Space Museum. Yeah! Yeah! And so that means the corridor in this footage was not filled with smoke. That's right, because the explosion didn't occur in the Space Museum. The explosion occurred in Launchpad 1, and on the side opposite the Space Museum. And now that we know the 2 astronauts escaped from the Space Museum, the mystery from the previous trial of how they got down the ladder is cleared up. Mr. Taryn, carrying Mr. Starbuck, simply took the elevator from the upper level down to the middle level. Just incredible. The 2 launch pads were actually switched. But you'd think someone would have noticed an event of this magnitude. Everyone was down in the basement shelter? Everyone in the world? Okay, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Where they show, like, rocket launches? Like, they have footage from, like, really far away. Where, like, so far away that if there was an explosion or something like that, the camera wouldn't be affected, and it'd still be able to, like, run. Is that something that can happen? Has there ever been a rocket launch that was completely private and cut off to the media? For one, that doesn't make sense business-wise. You want the media to be there to see your rocket launch because you want to drum up interest in your program so that you can get more funding, which was something that they specifically noted earlier in this case. Yeah, in North Korea or Soviet Russia maybe, but that's not where this is. Well, if the launch pad had to be moved, wouldn't it have seen it move? Which, yeah, I mean, if police prevented more people from coming, but I'm talking about a stationary camera that would have been there the entire time. Rocket launch. Like, I guess it depends entirely. I mean, look at this. Now, obviously, this is just one example, but this will kind of give you an idea. Like, it has to be really... The launch pad has to be, like, extremely far away from the museum. Because, like, these types of photos are taken all the time. Is it possible that it just didn't happen this time? Yes, but it seems kind of silly to not address that. Like, you can still see buildings that are around it too, because you're so far back. The launch site can't be that far away from the main building, though, if it's set up on a rail to just be taken around like that. Well, I suppose it could be, but that would be incredibly impressive. But again, even if it's away from the main building, it depends on how far away. Because people photograph and videotape rocket launches when they happen. Very far away from the site. Like, I just don't think this is a good... I don't think this is a good explanation. Like, give me some... You need to address it. Even if your reasoning isn't that good, at least you tried to address the whole. As opposed to making it seem like people in this world simply don't act like human beings do. They're contemporaries. I don't like when stories do that. Especially since this is all supposed to be built on logic and, you know, using your analytical mind to solve problems. Everyone was down in the basement shelter when the launch pads were swapped back. And not a soul was outside that day. There's no way anyone in the world could have known what was happening on the surface because no one was outside looking at that area at that time. My noise level. What? Bye bye. No more lies, Director Cosmos. It's high time you told us the truth. My honor, my glory. Everything is slipping away. Time to deploy my ultimate weapon. Galactic engine. Ignition. What? It's gone haywire. No! It won't stop! My stars, my glory! Okay, that's cartoonishly silly. I can get behind that. That was a pretty fun breakdown. Bailiff, on your steed and after that witness. I see we managed to retrieve you before you came to any bodily harm. Dr. Cosmos, you admit you switched the launch pads? I admit it's true. I switched launch pad 1 for the Space Museum. Ah, it is good to hear words I can believe for a change. The fuck was it? Not 30 minutes ago, he was like, well, I'm ready to render my verdict because there's really no more room for argument here. Before you do, Your Honor, 2 things. First, we don't know if Mr. Terran had prior knowledge of the switch. As for Mr. Starbuck, he was unaware of his surroundings thanks to his medication. Either way, Mr. Terran would have realized the instant he stepped into the Space Museum. Correct. That it had been switched with the Launchpad 1. So my first question is, if the Space Museum was perfectly fine, why did Mr. Terran feel the need to put on such a dramatic display? As for my second question, I'd like Director Cosmos to tell us why he switched the two launch pads to begin with. Please, I can't. I exercise my right to remain silent. But I will say my hands were tied. I was only doing what I could to keep my men from getting caught in that blast. The director is terrified. He must have one heck of a reason for not wanting to explain why. Probably not a good time to try to pry it out of him, huh? Uh-oh. Bringing it back to Apollo Justice. It's the Cadaverinis. They orchestrated this whole thing. Excuse me, but would you mind if I picked up my stars? Without my badge of rank, I'm nothing. I don't see why not. Bailiff, help the director retrieve his stars. No, you have the right to not incriminate yourself. The problem is that you can waive that. You could end up, like, waiving that right. Because, like... Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. Hey, some technical jargon. But yeah, it's not there. Doesn't have to be an affirmative action towards you, like accusing you, for you to be able to utilize your Fifth Amendment rights. He hasn't had Miranda rights yet, though. He hasn't been taken into custody. Well, that actually reminded me. Trep, are you present? Shouldn't we be unbanning? I don't know if it's Ironence or Ironence, based on what you guys talked about for the length. Well, take your ass back to sleep then. You're probably tired. Do that, or I'm just that motherfucking boring. Okay, That one. That one. That one. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Nope. 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 No, this is week 2. Wait. Yeah, this is week 2. There was 1 week, and now this is the 2nd week. It's 8? You've been up since 10? Yeah, you should go back to sleep. Jesus. No, it's not night. Alright, I can do that. Do you want to, make a note of it? Somebody that we banned renamed themselves to Dr. Discharge. Some of these people did not have these names when they got banned. A lot of Russian names. Ginger Brothers. Wet Eyes Ocean Machine? Dr. Discharge is in here twice. Dingo Bingo? I mean, most of these are either Russian names or like Naked HD XYZ dating website. You know, I won't get into it too deep, but I am honestly surprised that people will get temp banned and will like be around or like come back like rather quickly. I guess I just assumed that the world is more like vindictive than that. They'd be like, I fucking unsubscribe, leave, never watch your videos again. But that hasn't really happened outside of one situation, and that was a whole thing. A little different from something like that, but that's the only time I can think of that actually happening. Unless we like banned them because we wanted them to go away. Like, we don't want you back. This is a permaban. That could be. Yeah, I know. It'll just stop loading at some point, right? Well, that's because you use symbols, or was it because you used too many symbols or something? Oh no, it's because you used a word that you shouldn't use. It appears the possibility of a culprit other than the defendant has presented itself. Mr. Starbuck, is there anything you wish to say? I don't get it. Don't get it? What don't you get? Director, why'd you do all that? From the very beginning, you never meant the launch to go ahead. You never meant for the launch to go ahead, did you? You tricked us. Mr. Starbuck. Starbuck, my boy, I'm sorry. I can't tell you the reason why. I will sit here in my Gendo Akari pose. But I had to do it to protect the Space Center. Director, will I ever get a chance to go into space again? Yes, of course. I will rest until it happens. We still don't know who this person is. Or do we? I will get you into space again, my boy. And the dream is still alive.
Silence.
Allow me to end your dream right now. I did no such thing, Zeth. I refuse. I refuse. Yo, what's up, Switcher? You know, I got hollowed more again today when they drafted Roman Reigns to SmackDown and then Cody to Raw. I felt like fucking Starbuck here. Oh, look at Switcher's got the new badge. That's you and like, what, 2 other people that have the badge? That's the new Year 3 badge. I'm not going into space, Starbuck, but prison. I won't have it any other way. Why are you so hung up on him? Dude, he's just not that into you. Yes, I accept that the launch pads really were switched. And if there were a third person at the scene, I suppose they could have escaped. But I've yet to see proof of this third person's escape via the Space Museum. Oh, that's a good point. Ah, he's right. I don't have any proof. Dude, you never have any proof. I'm gonna stop you, usually. Next month, that badge shall be mine. Thank you, Light. Thank you for 2 years and 11 months. Almost there. They did. We did get cucked out of it. It's annoying. It's really fucking annoying. He's right. I don't have any proof. Starbuck! You will spill every... You will spill... There we go. Starbuck, you will spill everything you know. What? Me? Ah! Oh, fuck. Not Ace Attorney. Yeah, we're talking about World Wrestling Entertainment. Where'd you get those bombs? Tell me now. If you don't, my blade shall feast on your blood. Jesus Christ. Gah! I'm gonna die. I wanna die in space. No, you don't. I have to do something. Solomon Starbuck. Prepare yourself. Objection? What? What? Yeah. Now I need a Tal to make a 4-year badge though. We got 3. Thank God. We didn't have to see something incredibly stupid. Ha 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 ha. Now, you know violence isn't the answer, Prosecutor Blackwell. We know who it is. Come on. That annoying, cheerful laugh. It can be none other than... Champion of Righteousness, Bobby Fulbright here. In justice we trust. Detective Fulbright? Why am I surprised that you're here? Sorry to keep you waiting, Mr. Lawyer. I hope I'm not too late. I don't believe we had an appointment. First, hold on, I need to sniff some cocaine off of these fingers. Or sniff them to imply that I've been in the company of a fine young lady. Or just because I enjoy my own scents. Either way... I tried to hurry, but I ended up helping a little old lady cross the street. And then I had to break up a cat fight. I tell you, justice sure is a full-time job. Was it a fight between cats, or... I legit had that same... Why are you here again? Because the defendant isn't the culprit, and I came to make sure that justice is served. I don't have any idea what you're talking about. I gotta have running gags. That's what makes us a long-standing community. You have running gags. Gotta have something that we can all go, oh, I remember we made that joke before. Look how excited Trep got when we saw the worst fucking line in all of fiction. Fulbright! I always thought you were a bit touched in the head. But have you finally succumbed? Nope, but it looks like you've succumbed to this phantom of yours. Open your eyes and let the evidence of justice uncloud your judgment. What evidence? Now to think of it, he did say something about finding us some evidence. I didn't think he was serious, though. No, he's just blowing smoke. So what is it, detective? Is it something that will prove Mr. Starbuck innocent? It is indeed. Have a look at this. What's this? A lighter. That's right, a lighter thought to have been used by the culprit, no less. The Space Museum's cleaning robot picked it up. It has the victim Clay Terran's blood, along with his killer's fingerprints on it. What? Ah! Do you know it's not our client's fingerprints? I mean, I think he has them. So I'm hoping he checked that first. Order. Detective Fulbright, can I assume that the fingerprints don't belong to the defendant? You bet. Mr. Starbuck is totally innocent. This is it. This is just what I needed. Your Honor, this is decisive evidence that supports the defense's earlier claim. Striding gags. I like that. And stride. Fulbright's somebody that's grown on me. Like, I don't find him as, like, interesting. That's not the word. Engaging as Gumshoe. Because I guess Gumshoe's a little more down to earth. Whereas Fulbright's obviously more of like a cartoony caricature, which isn't. There's nothing wrong with that. Just helps you connect to Gumshoe a little more. But he is somebody that grew on me over time. I don't dread his appearances anymore. I don't think I ever dreaded them, but I used to be like, oh god. Eye roll. I got it! Galloping gags. Let's do it. Our galloping gags. Oh, absolutely not. Emma's the best. The only investigator better than Emma is Edgeworth, and he's not really an investigator, we just got to do investigations with him. Your Honor, this is decisive evidence that supports the defense's earlier claim. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. With pleasure, Your Honor. Recall where this lighter was found. Based on that, we can extrapolate that after the killer murdered Mr. Terran, they escaped with the lighter in hand into the Space Museum, where they dropped it. The switching of the two launch pads occurred. Then finally, the killer left through the boarding lounge 2 and made their escape. Meanwhile, Mr. Starbuck was found in boarding lounge 1 after the murder. Fact that Director Cosmos has testified to. Therefore, Mr. Starbuck couldn't have possibly been the one to drop the lighter there.
Silence.
Is the killer arm? That's what I've been thinking since a while. But because that would also kind of explain why there's this bigger conspiracy going around or whatever. Oh, but the detective had free reign of the area until Director Cosmos appeared. Could he not have dropped the lighter in the Space Museum during that span of time?
Objection.
With blood and shit on it? You'd like that to be true, wouldn't you? That's an asshole thing to say. But Director Cosmos testified that right after he saw the mysterious figure with the lighter, he went into the lounge and found the unconscious Mr. Starbuck. In other words, Mr. Starbuck wouldn't have had the time to double back to the museum. No, Prosecutor Blackwell, this lighter could only have been dropped by the real killer. Ugh. Most importantly, Mr. Starbuck's fingerprints were nowhere to be found on this lighter. I think you understand what this means, don't you? Case is over with. Done! Acquitted! Let's get going. Time to go home. This piece of evidence unequivocally proves that Mr. Starbuck wasn't the culprit. This does indeed appear to be decisive evidence that proves the defense's claims. I don't like when people use that word decisive because very rarely does it actually turn out to be decisive. Yeah, I've been playing Honkai Star Rail and I'm kind of sad I didn't stream it because there are some hilarious things about that game that like aren't so good. It's a fun game, but there are some quirks about it that are like hilarious to make. Like it's funny. Like it definitely does not match the quality of Genshin. As for the remote switch that was found in Mr. Starbuck's pocket, we can assume it was planted by the killer on the unconscious Mr. Starbuck. No, there must be some mistake. Frankly, Prosecutor Blackwell, I've been worried about you. You've been chasing this phantom for 7 whole years. I understand your urgency because tomorrow.
Silence.
Statute of limitations. Wait, is that what their rule is here? Because, like, we don't actually have that here. But that was the thing in, the first game, right? Wasn't the DSL, was it 7 years? I mean, you can actually answer me. I'm not, I honestly don't remember. It was 15 years. Why does that feel like that was an investigation thing? It's been 15 years. I feel like it came up elsewhere. Yeah, I don't remember where, but I thought it did. Anyways, 7-year statute limitations for assuming it was murder is not a thing here. I think it might be some places, but not here. An Apollo Justice. Death and Abstentia. Okay. Well, that would be a little different. I'd have to go back and check that. I-23. That was 7? Or the 15 was an I-23. Is it a sequel to Honkai Impact? It's in the same universe, but I didn't remember them saying it was a sequel. Like, Genshin's in the same universe, but it's in the same universe as, like, Final Fantasy X is in the same universe as Final Fantasy VII, because apparently the progenitor of the Shinra Corporation in Final Fantasy VII came from the world wherever they came from the world that Final Fantasy X existed. Or it's just an Easter egg and all that's bullshit. But anyways, I don't think they're actually supposed to be like super connected like that. I-23 was 15. 7 for theft. Okay, that makes sense. That's more, yeah. Okay. Thank you, Moulton, for clarifying. It probably is just them being cute. But I mean, like, even if you stretch that, that's the best you could do. Because they don't, like, they're very much not on the same planet. Like, we know that's the case. They're not the same characters. Don't they just share designs? That doesn't make them the same characters, though. I have Bronya. I got one 5-star. It's the most broken fucking 5-star in the game. Fulbright, you promised never to speak of that. Huh? Tomorrow? What about tomorrow? Maybe it's a theft. In 7 years, the statute, the phantom thief that you're looking for will have passed the statute of limitations. Given the body of evidence, I think it's safe to say the defendant is innocent. In light of the fact that it was impossible for him to have committed the crime, a few unanswered questions remain, so I look forward to seeing what you two uncover. But for now, this court finds the defendant Solomon Starbuck. Holy shit! Ah! Yes, we did it, Mr. Wright. Looks like we pulled it off somehow, huh? With some help from Detective Fulbright. Man, it actually was decisive. We didn't have to find the real killer. I would have allowed myself to orgasm if I had streamed this on like an OnlyFans account. But alas, we are on YouTube, so, you know, gotta keep that to yourself. Is Hook any good? I just pulled him today, I think. It looks fun, but I haven't used him at all. Only Twain. Mr. Wright, Miss Sykes, thank you. And please thank Apollo for me too, when he gets his head out of his ass. You all are the best. Oh, I wish we could tell Apollo about Mr. Starbuck's verdict right now. Oh, I wasn't aware that he doesn't have a telephone in which you can text message him those exact words. Yeah, me too, but that's gonna have to wait. The the communication between people in these games is infuriating. Now that a verdict has been reached, I'd like to bring today's trial to a close. Court is adjourned.
Objection.
That could have been that easy. It's too late to object, isn't it? It simply is impossible. Something's wrong. Prosecutor Blackwell, are you dissatisfied with the verdict? I mean, that's, at that point, that's a matter for appeals. Fulbright! What were the results of the fingerprint analysis for the lighter? Huh? The results? Oh, well, I was in a hurry, you see. And then there was that cat fight, and, well... I kinda got carried away when I heard the prints weren't Mr. Starbucks, so... You have yet to read it! Prosecutor Blackwell, can you read out who the prints belong to? Upon thorough analysis, the fingerprints were found to belong to Athena Sykes. Excuse me? So says the report. Yep, there it is. Go ahead, lads, lock her up. That came up. Brum! Me? What are you talking about? This is a win-win for Phoenix. Like, he gets his client off, and then immediately gets another client that has to pay him. All that money that I gave you, gotta give it right back to me. You guys gotta think like business people, i.e., cold, soulless, selfish individuals. It's a pyramid scheme. Order, I say, order! Miss Sykes, tell me you have an explanation for this. We just finished proving that this lighter could only belong to the killer. So finding your prints on it can only lead us to one grave conclusion. I don't know how they got there, but I know I'm not the culprit. This can't be happening. Again. Again. It always happens. There is no game where it doesn't happen, except for Paul Justice, I guess. We built up our argument piece by piece. And I don't think any of our reasoning was faulty. So how could it have led to this? Oh, what have I done? Please forgive me, I'm sorry! What's the conflict of interest? And you, as an attorney, should have a bias for your client. Like, that's not a bad thing. It would be a problem for the judge or the opposing attorney to have a bias for you or against you like that. Yeah. But as the attorney, no, it doesn't matter. There's no conflict of interest. Our interests are aligned. I don't want her to be found guilty. She doesn't want to be found guilty. I want her to continue working at my law office. She wants to continue working at my law office. Aligned. If I secretly wanted to fire her, then maybe there'd be some conflict of interest there. Yes, didn't I just explain why your interests would be aligned in that situation? Order, order! Detective Fulbright, stop your crying. What in the world is happening here? It's like the world's gone mad. Order. Order! I will have order! No, you won't. I said, fuck you. Do I need to blow up another bomb in here? Confusion spiraled into utter chaos. After all we'd fought for, the truth had turned cruelly on us to accuse Athena of the crimes. I guess I don't understand what you're confused about. Athena and Phoenix both want Athena to not go to prison. Athena and Phoenix both want Athena to continue working at the Wright & Co. law office. Where is there a conflict of interest? There is no conflict of interest that exists. Somewhere, somehow, everything had gone terribly wrong. Yeah, the only parties in which bias matter for are the parties that are supposed to be impartial. We had stumbled over the edge of reason and into the jaws of a twisted darkness. Oh, so it goes into the next case. I see. In this dark age of the law, turn about for tomorrow. No one can escape their past. I wonder whose sword that belongs to. Could it be the only person in this whole fucking country that still uses a sword like that? The sins we've committed and the sadness we've caused. No matter how far we run, our past remains, as ever present as the moon in the sky. You're gonna hurt yourself, Apollo. It looms in wait. But only in doing so can we truly make peace and move on and hope towards tomorrow. Man, they really took some Danganronpa stuff and sprinkled that in throughout this game, didn't they? Hope, despair, the fucking changing towers. Who, me? You're not talking about me. You're talking about a character in the game, right? I feel like I'm not the only one that keeps its pulse alive. I wish. Get more attention that way. The revisualization. Yeah. Yep, that's a good point too. Which, like, I don't mind. I should point that out. I don't mind. It like, Danganronpa took stuff from Ace, like took some inspiration from Ace Attorney. There is nothing wrong then with Ace Attorney saying, "Oh, you did some of this other stuff that was really cool. I'm gonna take inspiration from that." Nothing wrong with that. Just you notice it, right? They took Athena from the courtroom straight into the station. She's probably being questioned at this very moment. Well, this fucking sucks. After this past year, I took it for granted that those two would always be here. Now Apollo's gone off on his own to seek his own truth. My pursuit of the truth only ended up with Athena becoming the new suspect. Some boss I turned out to be. Man, that ain't your fault!
It's even quieter in here than usual.
Yeah. It seems so empty, too.
I just don't get it, Daddy. All of your reasoning during the trial seemed perfectly solid. I mean, not like airtight and amazing, but solid.
Yeah, and I still believe it was, at least based on what we know.
But now Athena's the one who's being accused.
Oh, maybe she fucking did it. During the trial for the bombing and murder that occurred at the Cosmos Space Center, the lighter used by the real culprit was found. This lighter proved the defendant, Solomon Starbuck, innocent. But Athena's prints were found on it instead. She was subsequently arrested for the murder.
But Athena couldn't have done it. It just doesn't make any sense.
No, none of it does. I've been racking my brain, but I just can't figure it out. Ah, where's the flaw in my reasoning? What have I got wrong in this case?
You know, Daddy, if Athena was here, she wouldn't just be sitting around thinking. She'd be out there doing something. You are going to defend Athena, right, Daddy?
Athena might be like, fuck you, you're the reason I'm in here. Of course I will, and thanks, Trucy, I needed that push. Trucy's right. Trial's tomorrow, there's no time to waste. If I'm going to prove Athena's innocence, I'd better get out there and find some evidence.
Off we go, then. We're on a hunt for evidence that'll prove Athena's innocence.
Great, before we go, I'd better tidy up the evidence I have on hand. Athena's probably still in the middle of being questioned. Though Trucy's right, the thing to start with is talking to the people at the Space Center. Oh! Oh! Do we get Trucy finally? Yeah, fuck, I gotta be a dad again. Director Cosmos, you have a minute? Fuck you! Galactic Scooter, full speed ahead! How is he not in jail for extreme perjury and also for tampering with a crime scene? Like, okay, perjury, but like that crime scene tampering, this game should at least realize that that's a problem. What's her face got in trouble for it? Adrian. And it was not. Well, okay, no. It actually, it's arguably as egregious as what he did. She fucking desecrated a corpse. Well, do we know that he... It hasn't been revealed whether he planted the bomb yet. Just that he's involved in whatever's going on. But, I mean, yeah, that would be enough for suspicion of that being the case, right? There's no way he would be he would definitely be in jail. Director! He scooted away. But they're, like, acting like only one person could have done this crime, even though, like, he clearly implied that there's more than just him. And planted evidence.
His expression changed the instant he saw you, Daddy. He really, really, really doesn't like you.
Well, yeah, I dragged his name through the mud pretty good at the trial earlier today. Hey! Hey, we get Trucy back! Trucy and Phoenix, this is great. I'm excited about that. Now, I'm sure we'll have her for like a day, and then by day 2 we'll have somebody else, which, I mean, as long as they're awesome, that's fine. If like Maya came back, well, that would be just swell. But I'm gonna enjoy this while I can. Which one? This one. This one. Oh, yeah, she's significantly smaller than him. Oh, look at daddy and daughter doing their thing. When it was just that. Oh, man. I'm happy. So I got a question. I just need basic information. Because my eyes are starting to kill me because I've had these contacts in for 16 hours now, and I'm really not supposed to have them in more than 12. I'm probably going to have to stop. But how many streams do you guys think this case is going to take on its own? Is this like, trying to think, what's the longest? What case was the longest that we had in terms of streams? Was it 4-4? Was it 4-4? Wow, really? So this isn't like your typical super long case 5. All right, I'm comfortable with that. And we've been making some pretty good progress, and I don't think there should be any problem with me streaming the next few weeks. So we won't have to skip a week. That's true. That's true. There are cases that have done this exact same thing and were counted as one case. So if you counted them two together, it's just a really long chapter 4 then. That's fair. Then it would be like 4-4. Because 4-4 was, how long was the 4-4 VOD? Oh no, not 4-4. What was the one? Didn't I have one where it was like 9 hours? Oh, that was 3-5 was 9.5 hours. Holy shit. God, how could any of you watch that? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true too. Although most of the cases have had that sort of connection to them since trials and tribulations. Which is good, obviously. But yeah, we're gonna call it there so I can go take my eyes out of my head so they stop hurting. I'll be back next. Well, I'm gonna stream tomorrow. I'm streaming Genshin tomorrow because there's an event going on. There's like a quest, two hangouts I still need to do, and I want to get through some of that shit. So, I'll be streaming tomorrow, but I'll be streaming Genshin, and the next week, Friday, we'll be back to this. So, yeah. Thanks for watching, everybody. I had a good time. Tonight was fun. Tonight was a good time. We got our first. That's how it's supposed to end. Does it suck that Athena got accused? Yes. Is it a trade that I'm not too unhappy with? Also, yes. So, we'll deal with her shit later. Again, more money for us. This is just a win-win all around. You all have a great night. Thank you to Lightgazer for your membership re-up. Thank you to Tal for the new membership, creating the new membership badge. You guys have a great week. And I'll see you start Case 5 next weekend. So, till next time, everybody. Stream is adjourned.